Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, this is the Daily Deucey podcast for Thursday. I actually got the date right, I think. March 18th. Got a couple good stories today. It's really kind of rainy and shitty out. Don't really have too many quips to give you for the quick preview. Shout out to TLC Landscape and the old La Fianza brothers. Hopefully, maybe next time I give them a shout out, they'll be sponsoring this fucking podcast, you cheap bastards. Give me a discount on the fucking lawn service that I get. But honestly, they do give great service to the lawn. And I will be getting them at the house very shortly because we got to prep up the backyard because we got a bunch of new patio furniture and cabana type nonsense coming in. It's going to be good times. So, we're going to go to the story here, which is takes one to know one. Putin, is it Putin? Gosh darn it. Putin Biden spat escalates after killer accusation. Officials in Moscow go on offensive after Biden says Russian president will pay price for election meddling. So before we get into this, again, I don't even think Biden understands, when they tell him, that they meddled in the election by using Twitter and Facebook bots and kind of riling things up. Biden has no idea what they're talking about. So let's just be fair on that. So whomever is actually running the country, I hope they're good on social media tactics because the boy Putin over there is nice with it. Russian relations with the U.S. have entered a new post-Trump period of smoldering hostility after Vladimir Putin shrugged off accusations from Joe Biden that he was a killer, saying, "It takes one to know one." Oh, God. See, that's another thing, it's, I don't want to call it like a left or right thing, but it is kind of like a left thing where we talk about doing wonderful, peaceful, utopian things all day, and then Biden goes and bombs Syria and kills thousands of people. So is it worse that Putin poisoned one person? Or is it worse that Biden just sends missiles into Syria within weeks of him being in the presidency? I don't know. The Russian president responded in a characteristically icy fashion to Biden's remarks, which followed an assessment by U.S. intelligence agencies that Moscow was continuing to meddle in American democracy and had tried to help Donald Trump win last year's U.S. election. Putin flipped the accusation back on the U.S. counterpart in an interview to mark the 7th anniversary of Russia's annexation of Crimea. "I remember in my childhood," Putin said, "when we argued in the courtyard, we used to say, 'It takes one to know one.' That's not just a children's saying or joke. We always see our own traits in other people and think they are like how we really are. And as a result, we assess persons' activities and give assessments." Gosh darn it, man. Say what you want about Putin, but the kid is smart, babe. First of all, he would probably whoop the shit out of almost every other head of state in the world because he's a legit black belt in judo. But he just says shit straight up. He doesn't have to fucking make jokes or anything like that. He just says it. Putin then said he would tell Biden by the way of reply, "I wish you health." His comments were made without any irony or joke, he added impassively. So, yeah, again, the things that come out of your mouth are legit. So, are we going to war with Russia because Biden called him a killer and said that we're going to deal with them? So, is he, are we fucking sending troops into Russia now? Because killers, what do you mean? We're going to put fucking sanctions on them? You don't it wasn't even proven that he did it, and that has nothing to do with us, and we do the same fucking shit, bud. So we're not any better just because we hide what we do. Maybe they're better because they say this is what we're going to do, and even China too. They say, nah, we're just going to do this because it's in the betterment of our country and our people, so fuck you. They don't care what other countries have to say. The exchanges mark a definitive breach with the Trump administration, which refused to call out Moscow despite a string of poisonings seemingly authorized by the Russian state. AKA, like, not officially authorized by the Russian state? Like, seemingly? Okay. They include the Novichok attacks on Sergei Skripal in 2018 and Alexei Navalny, the Russian opposition leader, last summer. Navalny, Putin's most formidable adversary, is in a penal colony after flying back from Germany to Moscow in January, where he was arrested. Biden has signaled that Washington will no longer roll over in the face of Russian aggression, and he's preparing yet to be revealed countermeasures. There will be a price to pay, Biden said. I mean, we'll see, babe. But the problem with that is all the people that supported Biden are not going to be into any sort of fucking military shit. Like, the left is not into, like, us going into other countries. We get called fucking colonizers and fucking terrible fucking, like, killers all the time. Like, this is, and it's funny how, like, I didn't even plan it that way, but the words just kind of flowed that way. Like, he called Putin a killer. But the left, the far left, to be fair, the Antifa and BLM people in this country, they call us killers as well. So, like, Biden is a traditional white straight male who's been in power for 50 years. Like, a large portion of his base calls him a killer too. So is Putin actually wrong by saying you shouldn't call other people killers when you're a fucking killer too? And, where is it? Is it in this one? Let's see, like that. Moscow. So he actually says something about BLM in here. I don't know. It might not have been in this one. It is now evident that Biden does not intend to repeat the doomed effort by the Obama administration to reset relations with Moscow. Other areas of disagreement include the annexation of Crimea, Russia's support for the Assad region and the Syrian civil war. Russia will be held accountable. So Putin, in some other articles, which it might be this, but I'm just not looking for it. Like, he even says, like, you have all these problems in your country with BLM and the riots and all this. Like, why are you calling me a killer? So, like, what Putin does is shitty. It's hardline tactic shit. But I was actually in a fucking Uber with a guy a couple weeks ago, and he was a Russian guy. And he said, you know what? Some places you have to have a hardline guy. Now, to be fair, Biden said the same shit about China, and he got eaten up over it. But the Russian guy said when he grew up in Russia, like, if there wasn't a hardline leader, like, the gangs and everything just took over. This idea that our just American ideas of freedom and letting people do whatever the fuck you want is just going to work out for everybody, because it's not really even working out here now. Like, it's way too much of a topic to get into on the daily podcast, but, you know, we have people, especially the younger generation now, who are trying to cancel everyone and who think that what people, like, what they say matters. Like, what you say, it doesn't matter until you prove yourself to be fucking worthy. And, like, this whole spoiled thing where, you know, minorities talk shit to people and feel like they shouldn't have to stand up for anything. You know, there was something where, you know, she should just get straight A's because she's a minority. It's the same kind of racial spoiledness that a rich white person gets, that who think that they should get whatever they get because they're rich and white, and that no one should ever step up to them. But now it's actually come like a crazy full circle where if you're oppressed, then you should be able to get whatever the fuck you want. And no one else should be able to come over you, so they should be the ones that are actually being spoiled. Like, oppression is now a way to be spoiled now. It's really fucking crazy. Anywho, we're going to move on to the next topic. Deucey crypto update, 3:58 p.m. on March 18th. Bitcoin just about down 1% for the day at $57,350. We have Ethereum dropping a little bit at just over 3% at 1770. Ripple's about even, 47 cents. Doge down 1.56 at 6 cents. Now, from Kirill Bryanov, would a U.S. wealth tax push millionaires to Bitcoin adoption? There are ways in which a tax on the ultra-wealthy could nudge them towards crypto, but hiding assets is not one of them. Levying a progressive tax on the ultra-wealthy has been a talking point long popular with many United States Democrats. Now that the Democratic Party is back in control of both the White House and Capitol Hill, the initiative is formally... Where did it go? Here we go. The initiative is formally on the table. On March 1st, a group of Democrat lawmakers led by Senator Elizabeth Warren, Native American, introduced legislation proposing an annual tax on the households and trusts worth more than $50 million, including the value of assets of such real estate and stocks. As new bridges between traditional capital and digital asset space emerge almost daily, high net worth individuals can move value to crypto with more ease than ever. So on Warren's plan is marketed as the ultra millionaire tax. She proposes a 2% annual tax on the net worth of any household between $50 million and $1 billion, and a 3% tax for those worth more than $1 billion. The framers contend that the burden will only fall on the wealthiest 100,000 households in the nation, or the top 0.5% of wealth distribution. So I guess that's the new thing. The 1%, considering the 1% is like 400,000 and up, that now we're down to the 0.5%. The lawmakers argue that the initiative could bring in at least $3 trillion in federal revenue over 10 years, a pool of resources that could be directed to support underfunded areas such as education, childcare, and infrastructure. So, the answer to the actual would a U.S. wealth tax push people into crypto is no. And the reason is that we're actually starting to get more above board, and you can't actually hide shit in crypto anymore. So he actually just basically says the answer is no at the end of this article. But I do want to kind of touch on this. So they say that the initiative could bring in at least $3 trillion in federal revenue over 10 years, which could go to support underfunded areas, education, childcare, and infrastructure. Now, the kind of idea that I'm about to say could certainly end up being a dangerous idea and kind of screw us in the long haul. But I think we're about really close to the point where I don't think we should be giving the government our money anymore. Like, they are almost always pretty much completely inept with the ability to spend our money correctly. So we keep just pumping more and more money into these people. And of course, probably most of them are doing a decent job locally for the people. And there's all types of federal programs that do actually happen. But I don't think giving these funds to government officials is any longer the most effective way to do it. Like, I think we should just have the companies do it. I don't know, maybe that's fucking dangerous. But my argument is some sort of for-profit model to get these areas funded, like education, childcare, and infrastructure, with some sort of incentives for the company, would end up just working better than government people taking money from rich people and then trying to spend it how they feel. Let alone the fact that most of these super wealthy rich people are donating hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, to different projects and different things. I just feel if you have that much money, you're smarter than most of the people who are in government. Like, do I want fucking Elon to have to give money to some clown in government so they can spend it on what's better for society? Or Bezos, or even crazy Bill Gates? Like, we have to get to the point where we just agree that these people are just smarter than whom we have in government. I don't know what to tell you, but would I rather any Republican or Democrat, Trump, Kamala, Biden, any of them, who would you rather run your town, Elon or these clowns? The answer is pretty clear. And, maybe eventually Elon goes into public service when he's just super rich and he doesn't need the money. I mean, listen, say what you want about Trump. He is an egotistical clown who really fucking screwed up the many beneficial things he could have done, but he had a ton of money already. So, this whole idea of people buying them off, it's less likely in those scenarios. Anywho, next story is our Deucey local story. Man claims Elmwood Park police made anti-Muslim remark. Now he's suing and wants apology. Okay, it sounds shitty. An Elmwood Park man has filed a lawsuit against the Borough Police Department and 2 of its officers, alleging he was called a terrorist during a traffic stop in December 2019. Peter Malak claims in the suit, which was filed in State Superior Court in Bergen County, that he was pulled over by officers Kenneth McKinney and Eric Chachola and thus placed himself in the custody of the police. Okay, I don't know what the fuck that means. And I'm going to read most of the story here real quick and then kind of comment on it again. But Peter Malak claims in the suit, which filed blah, 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 the complaint does not contest the stop, which resulted in his arrest. Okay, bud, was he arrested or was he temporarily put in the custody of the police by himself? What does that mean, Katie Sobko? What does that even mean? It doesn't make sense. So Peter Malak claims, so the complaint does not contest the stop. So he was arrested from a stop. So most likely it's a DUI, right? So it doesn't actually say what he was arrested for in the article at all. Anyhow, I'm getting fucking worked up again. During the stop, Malak claims one of the officers said he looked like a troublemaker and asked about his ethnic background. Okay, not fucking smart, but also not illegal. Malak alleges that after he told the officer that he was Egyptian, the officer responded by saying, "Oh, you're one of those Muslim terrorists." Also, really fucking dumb. Malak realized that he was facing intentional and malicious discrimination and did not engage in further conversation, the suit says. Okay, like, what did you do what they said you did or did you not? So you don't contest the stop or the arrest. So did they do it because they knew you were? They didn't even know first. So anywho, Malak later received video footage of the arrest from the police department after police records request. However, he alleges some of the footage is missing and some of the places conspicuous, sudden, and inexplicable absences of sound. Okay, so in that regards, I'm kind of with him. Like, we can't like always, I want cops to have cameras on them at all times because I believe most of the time the cameras will exonerate and protect the officers. But if you have it on and you're supposed to have it on and the thing that the lawsuit is about is just missing, like, I don't know what to tell you, but that's shitty. And maybe you might actually get pinched in this fucking lawsuit, of which I think is kind of ridiculous because you fucked with the fucking evidence. Like, we have to be fair and responsible on both sides. Do I think that the fucking arrest should be banished if you called him a Muslim terrorist? No. Do I think the cops should fucking, have to fucking have some sort of, like, not even repercussions, but like, you can't do that because you're opening yourself up to litigation like this. It's just stupid. And you obviously are discriminating against them. So now they've committed a crime which you've got a legit arrest for, but you fucked it up because now they might think that you're only doing it because of his fucking race. You can't fucking do shit like that, dude. You can't do it because it fucks up everything else when people are being fair and they're getting jerked on. Excuse me. Malak alleges that the officers or the department altered the footage to remove evidence and that one or both officers were reprimanded or received additional training for deficiencies concerning the footage. Okay, I mean, if that's public information, that's got to go in the suit too. So if they were actually reprimanded for the footage, then they clearly fucking cut the stuff out. Now, here's where we get crazy. Fucking my nose is so itchy. I don't do fucking cocaine, especially like, come on. Fucking itchy fucking nose, though, I'll tell you that. Malak contends he is due punitive and compensatory damages for humiliation, distress, embarrassment, and suffering because of the discriminatory conduct. Like, come on, dude. Come on. Is that even a thing? We could sue people for getting, like, made fun of now? Like, what are we doing, man? He is also calling for the court to order the entire police department to undergo substantive sensitivity training around issues of discrimination administered by a third-party agency or law firm mutually acceptable to both parties. Okay, you have no right to demand the shit that they do. This is like the cool new thing with that guy fucking jerk off Jose Gonzalez and Bergenfield. Like, you don't get to fucking demand of the fucking people what should be fucking done and what shouldn't be done. Like, what are you talking about? Do you think you were treated discriminatorily and humiliated? Okay, fine. Like, go into that and you might win or you might not. But you don't get to demand of fucking police what they want. You don't get to demand a list of mechanical and electronic human error. That doesn't go, like, you have no right to that. And in the request, ask for both officers to write a letter of apology. Like, no. This is like, we look forward to hearing the response to the allegations, Malak's attorney Kevin Costello said Wednesday. Like, if they said that shit, it's shitty, and they should probably be fucking disciplined by the department. But you don't just because he called you a piece of shit or a fucking Egyptian Muslim terrorist, you don't get fucking money for that, dude. We have to stop normalizing this fucking nonsense where if anything fucking goes wrong, you feel like you should get fucking paid for it. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. It's fucking ridiculous. Wow, fucking already 20 minutes. Deucey Tech Entertainment section for the day. Return of the triplane, the revolutionary British-built hybrid aircraft powered by electricity and biofuel that's quieter than Hoover, which they're talking about a vacuum. Company called Faradair is working on an 18-seat hybrid plane called Beha. Beha? Why would a British company call it Beha? A hybrid aircraft that is quieter than a vacuum cleaner and harks back to the triplanes of the First World War is aiming to be at the forefront of eco-friendly air travel. Faradair, based in Duxford, home of the Imperial War Museum, aims to have its first bioelectric aircraft ready for commercial flights by 2026, with a full fleet available by the end of the decade. The futuristic 18-seater airplane sports a triple-box wing setup famously associated with German WW-1 flying ace, the Red Baron, and incorporates a combination of electric motors and biofuel. So the electric motors will orchestrate takeoff and landing, which will help reduce noise pollution as the company moves to a step closer to carbon-neutral travel. It's expected to register about 70 decibels when taking off and landing, the same noise level as a household vacuum cleaner. So the biofuel engines will take over while cruising and power a turbo generator. The engines will also help recharge the electric motors. Okay, so it's going to use electric to get up into the air, and then it uses the biofuel engine while it's in the air for cruising, and then it powers the generator, which then recharges that. That's fucking sick, dude, to be honest. And it kind of looks pretty sweet. Let's make it a little bigger here for the YouTube audience. But NJEA, go away. That's kind of sweet looking, to be honest. And they can build it. They can take the seats out to make it like a cargo plane, and they had some sort of videos of it flying. This is the Red Baron. Holy shit, that's kind of cool looking, to be honest. It almost looks like the Wright brothers. But it's, all this electric stuff is going to be the way it's going to go from now on. And it's probably going to go more towards the way of like drones and the like little multi-copter thingies. I don't think regular people are going to be driving these. And to be completely honest, I don't think regular people will ever drive flying cars either. I know we think about fucking Back to the Future and Corbin Dallas movie, whatever the fuck that was, Fifth Element. Like, I don't think it's ever going to just be like where we're just flying through like highways of the sky. I don't think we're going to be driving cars within the next 3 decades at most. So we're definitely not going to be fucking flying around the cars that fly, because humans are assholes and generally drunken pieces of shite, and we crash cars and kill each other all the time now. So we're probably not going to be able to take cars up in the air and like dive bomb onto populations of people because we drank too many fucking White Claws. Okay, so that's not going to be good. Hopefully my kids never drive anyway, and hopefully I make enough money to afford that Tesla by the time we get to that point, but we should be good to go. All right, wrapping up here for the day. We have Friday tomorrow, so the last stream for the week. We will have the Fort Nizzle stream tonight. We generally go 8 to 10. It's been actually going really quick, so maybe, depending on how I feel, I'll even go to 11. Shout out to Sammy Lee, who's been talking me into playing Rocket League, so I'm going to actually have to download that as well. And we'll have some Rocket League on the stream as well. So shout out to everyone still here, and we will see you soon.